friends. Welcome to Race to Rise podcast, a place where we discuss bite sized wisdom nuggets with easy to follow practices to live a better life. I am your host, Mital Patel, a parenting junkie, Ayurveda enthusiast, and an advocate of conscious living. Do you know your real self? Who are you? That was the question that got me to the spiritual practices that I am doing today. So, as many of you remember, that I went on an 8-day meditation retreat in the beginning of the month, and it was all about knowing myself. It was all about finding out who am I besides the role I play, like of a mother, an employee, a coach, a friend, a daughter, a daughter-in-law, a wife. It's not about all the roles that I play, but who am I really? Like, who am I? So basically, this silent retreat was about, dusting off all the dust and shredding all the layers and finding my true self. And then not just about learning or about, collecting the information or collecting the knowledge, but rather learn it and then how can I infuse this on my daily day-to-day life? Because we all know at the end of the day, spirituality is not about just a path that we all walk into. Rather, it's all about the living. A real, we're all, and it's just society or however we got into this phase, like we all say, I'm on a spiritual path. It's not that we're on a spiritual path, but we are spiritual beings and having human experiences, right? So it's all about how can we incorporate and how can we live spiritually on moment to moment basis, and how can we remind ourselves about our true nature. So logically, because of course we all know that how rational we think, and sometimes we don't understand the metaphysical language, and it's so important for us to understand from a science perspective. And before we even understand from a science perspective, let's just understand from a layman's logic, right? From a common sense. So we all say, when somebody says, so who are you? We say, for example, hey, I am Mital, mom of 2 boys, working as a quality control manager. I am a conscious parent coach, and blah, blah, blah. We talk about all the labels that society has given to us or what we have acquired living in this society. And we forget the who we truly are, what's our real, nature, and who we're here to serve as. And so the observation that from the teaching that was shared during my retreat was just phenomenal. It was mind-blowing, and I just wish to share with you guys, because for me personally, I am one of those person, when I share, I learn more. Like how they say, I know in one of the yogis said that if you want to master a skill, start teaching. And for me, when I share, the reason I share is because I know I need it the most and I need to practice it the most. But this is the best way that I can practice the most. So it's not like I'm here to teach you, but I'm just here to share with you so I can master the skill of living from, as who am I. So there's a famous quote by C.S. Lewis. He said, you don't have a soul, you are a soul, you have a body. Just pause for a second and listen to it again. You don't have a soul, you are a soul, you have a body. How deep is this quote? My entire retreat was based on this. It was all about that I am being as a soul, and I am not this body, or I am not this label. And how deep we go into understanding the difference between I, me versus mine. And so I really wanted to come up, and share in a way that we all can understand. So basic logic of this whole quote, or, whole metaphysical language, is that the human body, which is simply made up of, the organs or the eyes, ears, nose, mouth, the internal organs like kidney, lungs, liver, etc., which are, for specific use. And they exist not for its own sake, but they exist for the purpose of a user. So, like, a person who, and similarly, so a person who thinks, feels, and acts are the one who makes use of it. So the body is like a house which is fitted with windows, doors, ventilators, sanitary conveniences, etc. Right? So there must be an inmate in the body. And so the body is for the use of that inmate who uses or works with this mechanism. So the body is a house for our soul. So you might be wondering, okay, if the body is a house, then what is soul? The soul is the person. It's I. It's that in Indian philosophy we call it as Atma, as Chaitanya. And so it's just so important for us to understand that I am not this body, rather, I am the soul and I have a body. So it's just a difference of understanding that I is about me and body is separate. It's the house that I live in. So so for example, how the driver of the car is different than the car itself. Similarly, car is in place of our body and the driver is us, so the soul. And to understand it on a deeper level, we all know that the car has the motor power, whereas the driver has the motive power. The intention, right? The intent, the will, the purpose of the goal. For it's the driver who gives the car a direction according to his or her goal. I mean, his goal. And uses it as his will with the intention or the purpose of going somewhere, going to a destination. So, similarly, the soul or the Atma is different from the body. And so it's the soul which has the intention, which has the purpose, which has the goal, a will, or the motive, and which directs the body or decides about when, how, where, and why to use what part of it. So basically, I am in charge of this body, and I am, I am the one who decides or that when, how, where, and why to use what part of the body. And our spiritual teacher explained it so well, and in so many different ways you can understand this. But the thing is that we need to have this click with it and understand it so tight, and we have to use this on a daily basis, which is the hard part. And so we were given this understanding of how everything is about acting from a soul level and looking at each other as a soul and not looking at their the negative qualities, or not looking at the people's external, or the physical appearance, because it's all mechanism at the end of the day. It's all the material, but instead look within, into everyone's soul, because we all are divine, we all are unique, we all are, one at the end of the day. So it was all about understanding how we all are, unique, and at the same time we all are one, and so no differences. And so look at each other as everyone is divine. Look at each other as everyone is, you. Look at each other with so much respect, out of love. And if we treat each other with, with respect, love, and divinity, then we won't have all these ups and downs and the misunderstandings, or we won't have any differences between each other, or we won't even, we won't there will be no such thing as negative qualities, right? So I am just still engrossed in all the learnings that I have learned. And there is so much more that I've learned, but this was one of the basic concepts that we were taught, we've been taught again and again. It's just a matter of us understanding and living it. And what I learned also was that, all these problems in the world arise from this wrong belief about the real identity of ourselves. That when, if a person believes that nothing else but the body is the self, and, we're not the soul or we're not the divine, then we develop the materialistic outlook and the basis for our lifestyle on, materialistic values. And that's when, then our goal becomes a success in material pursuits by any means, right? Then it can be whatever, fame, earning money, and getting that status. So it's, if at the end of the day, if we all live spiritually and thinking everyone is divine, then there's no place for such problems in the world, and we would have so much respect for each other, we would have so much love for each other, and there would be no crisis, and our planet, and our world would be such a better place to live for us as well as for the coming generation and for our kids.
That's it for this week's episode of Race to Rise. Be sure to sign up to our email list at risewithmital.com and join us again next time for more wisdom about life, kids, and everything in between. I am Mital Patel, wishing you happy raising and rising.